Look,
Listen,
and Taylor.
yeah.
Hey, it's a podcast about Pokemon and other things you've managed to stumble upon. Look, listen with Geese Guyera, also Taylor. Episode 109. Oh my goodness.
109. I was very surprised typing that in.
Yeah, today we're going to talk about Horizons the Pokemon anime, episode 61. How about that? Am I right?
It's very sick.
Yeah, Geese, what do you think about all this?
Does it feel like it's been 61 episodes?
Geese peep. Sometimes yes, sometimes no.
Very fair opinion.
No, here's what it is. Here's what it is. If you just offhand say 61, you go, what? No way. But then if you really start thinking about to the early episodes, that feels about 20 years ago.
Yeah.
You're talking early, like the first time we meet Ino, you're talking little Liko barely getting a Pokemon. No, that was...
Oh, meeting her family and her artist father.
No, that was decades ago. Hello, Geese Peep. Please say hello. Why are you so quiet this week?
What's going on, Geese?
Sorry, guys. She's too busy playing with her friends, probably looking at birds. Way to go.
Ridiculous.
Way to go, Geese.
What a ridiculous hobby.
She better be back next week for Geese Peeps, Geese into the Week. What's new with Geese?
But I can't wait to hear what's been geesing with Geese.
Yeah. It'll probably be something sick. But we're going to have to wait an entire week. Clambos, you know what happens next. In here, it's not Pokemon yet, so skip ahead if you don't want to hear non-Pokemon stuff. It's time for watching, playing, eating
other things.
Yeah. This week, I watched a film called Strange Darling. Now, by the time this episode goes live, because spoilers and, Taylor, what is the word I'm looking for? That it is a noun that means disclaimer. Disclaimer.
A disclaimer, maybe.
Yeah, that's the one.
Nice.
That's the one. Disclaimer. We're recording a little bit early this week because of schedules, trying to make stuff work. So I'm jumping ahead to Poké News of the Week. I'm sorry. I'm all over the place, girls. But once again, we're pulling off the classic Look, Listen special, which is we're going to get to Poké News of the Week just a few hours before they announce a bunch of news at the closing ceremonies of the Pokemon World Championship. So this week, we're going to just...
I thought you were going to say the Olympics.
No. Pokemon World Championships. It's like the Olympics, but for Pokemon. We're going to give our predictions for what they're going to announce. But anyway, back to what I was talking about. Let's keep this train on the rails, Taylor. Strange Darling is the film. I saw a preview screening of it, so it's not out yet. But by the time this episode publishes, I'm allowed to talk about it because the director said, please don't spoil anything or say anything before it comes out. But luckily, it's going to already be out by the time you hear this.
Where are these? How'd you find out about this pre-screening?
It's in Los Angeles. They have them for almost every movie.
They used to not.
Don't lie to them.
So it's
to the listeners.
Well, I'm just saying it's sick that they're really kind of capitalizing on the Los Angeles population.
Los Angeles and New York, they've always, since we've been born, they've always had early screenings. But anyway, guys, I hate to be the bearer of bad news because clearly most of the people in that audience knew people that worked on the film because they kept like cheering at different parts during the credits. So I don't want to be mean. But the film Strange Darling, suspense thriller, Giovanni Ribisi, are you familiar with him?
Very. He's a very fun actor to watch.
He was the cinematographer on this.
That's interesting.
Yeah. That's rare. A director of the movie or writer of the movie, whatever, he was saying, I think this is the first time that's ever happened. I can't think of a famous actor turned cinematographer. I mean, plenty of them direct, but just to go straight to cinematographer.
Yeah, normally it's not like, I'm going to reinvent myself as an editor. Like, that's very weird.
It is interesting. Anyway, when this movie first started, okay, guys, God, I'm all over the place. Here's the bad news. I saw the trailer for this movie, and immediately I clocked the entire plot and said, oh, that's the twist right there.
Yeah.
I was correct. Sorry about that. and they're doing this to themselves because they're saying, and don't reveal any secret. And I'm like, well, I can reveal what I saw in a preview. Come on, guys. What are you talking about? In the opening of the movie, I was getting real hype, girls. I mean, do I want to use the word ripoff? No, of course not, because film is all about taking what you've seen before, making your own thing.
Yeah, that's unsaid.
The beginning of this movie is so Quentin Tarantino, you're going to lose your mind. And you're
sick.
I'm in for such a fun time. And then you watch the movie and you go, oh, yeah, okay. That's the twist you wanted. And I already knew from the first trailer, so all right.
I have such a problem with movies that really hinge on a big twist.
That's what it's hinging.
It's real cool when you're like The Sixth Sense and you get the reveal and it's like, whoa. But if that's all you got going for you, you can max watch the movie 2 times.
Yeah. Sorry about that, Strange Darling. You hate to see it. I mean, it's not like the acting's bad or anything. It's just they really want you to be, oh my God. And they really lean into it. Like, I don't want to spoil the way the movie is structured because that's not revealed in the trailers. So I'm not going to spoil that. But when you're really just gunning for, you'll never see this twist coming.
Yeah.
So, also, I was going to see Alien Romulus this week, but not really enough time, so I'll see that next week. Unfortunately, that's everybody on the internet wants to spoil that movie. Luckily, I think I've already forgotten the spoilers, so we're good. Everybody.
I'm very excited about it.
I don't know how I'm one of the big, because I know people really hate Prometheus. I love that movie. I thought it was so sick.
I think it's going to age very well.
Even if the person was running in a straight line when they could have run to the left, I thought the lore building in Prometheus was very sick.
That one, I was talking about this yesterday. What Eric was saying, which I think is correct, is they were miscommunicating the scale of the craft because everyone was like, oh, just run to the side. But that would be like outrunning a building that's falling on you.
Yeah, it's just a perspective problem.
Yeah, it wasn't a possibility. Anything that poor woman did, not gonna help her.
Like outrun the sun. Oh my God, the moon's coming right for us. I'll step to the left.
They do outrun the sun in the third Riddick film.
Yeah, it's so sick. Okay, guys, that concludes my watching of the week. How about eating of the week? Oh my God, my favorite pad thai. It was so good. Girls, I was watching a YouTube video and somebody said the words spicy noodles and I lost my mind and had to place an order then and there for extra spicy pad thai and some mango sticky rice. Oh, man, I was so happy eating both of those menu items from my boy TG, used to be called TG Express, now called TG Thai Food. Not Express at all, because I used to just walk to it because it was right next to us and they moved it, and I'm devastated because now I can only order it for delivery and I can't just walk over there. So the mango sticky rice, was it photogenic? No. Was it incredible tasting? Yes. The rice, so sticky. The mango, so delicious. Oh my God, you combine them both? I'm salivating just thinking about it. It's such a good mango sticky rice.
It's such a good menu there. They do a great job.
Taylor, it's time for you to discuss Brotherhood of the Wolf. And I see you wrote too much banana bread. You said that last week. So either you pick something new or you miss out on food this week.
Well, I have clearly missed out on food because all I'm eating is banana bread. I don't understand it. I don't know how much banana bread one person can eat. I think it takes up a good 35 to 40% of my diet at this point.
Oh my
and the
God.
rest is just almonds and popcorn.
Oh, I've been eating Uncrustables.
No. They're good. They're real good.
It's not a long-term thing. It's just sometimes I get a little craving and I'll get a big Pringles salt and vinegar.
Oh, with the potato chips with the Uncrustables. Come on.
It's just a little craving. I'm going to eat my 12 little thawed peanut butter and jellies and we'll call it a day.
Freshly thawed PB&J. Come on.
It's better than what I used to do, which is go to the Los Angeles downtown market, Grand Central, whatever goofballs, and then spend $14 on their artisan Uncrustable, which, to be fair, was called the Red Eye and it had espresso in it, so it's probably worth $1,000. But girls, please tell me about Brotherhood of the Wolf.
Okay,
Eve.
Brotherhood of the Wolf was one of those movies where you hear somebody say, hey, there's a lot of inspiration for Bloodborne in this film, which, to everyone's credit who's saying that, absolutely correct. Does it star Triple H? Basically.
Girls?
Yes.
You correct me if I'm wrong, but haven't you, in the past, told me, oh, I just watched this thing that clearly inspired Bloodborne?
That's the thing. Is Bloodborne is such a combination of inspiration. It's impossible to find something it isn't. I'm drinking coffee right now, inspired Bloodborne. It draws from a lot of different sources, but this one is very pronounced, right? It has that kind of right pre-French Revolution attire that's really sick. It has the guy from MasterChef and the movie DNA, which I also recently watched.
Sounds like a sci-fi original.
I think it was. It was
nice.
It's fun because it's a movie. Anyway, yeah. So is it French? Yes. Does that give you an expectation of what the film is going to be? Yes. Does it meet or exceed those expectations? No. It is a weird 90s action movie with a lot of kung fu and a weird monster in it.
Is it a wolf?
It's hard to say if it's a wolf.
Brotherhood of the Wolf sounds like a Neo Geo game, I'll be honest. Like it's a sequel to Garu Mark of the Wolves with your boy Terry Crews from King of Fighters.
Yeah, it sounds like a Sega game to me, like something you'd play on the Game Gear.
Ooh.
It has Vincent Cassel in it, and he does a great job. It has, as I said, that guy from Hawaii that they had do MasterChef for so many years. Also, he's sick in it. Yeah, weird movie. Very weird movie. It feels like a Devil May Cry game more than it feels like Bloodborne.
Sick. And if it weren't for Brotherhood of the Wolf, Miyazaki-san would have never gotten to video games.
Yep.
That's very sick, Taylor. What is Eve? Is this another movie?
Eve is a Korean drama where I don't know how much of it was in slow motion, but if you like Korean dramas and you
you girls clearly love Korean dramas.
Yeah.
Weekend here with a new little K drama, new little K special, new little K soap opera, little K movie.
The funny thing is, I'm starting to pick up Korean. Don't watch it. Just skip this one altogether. If you like melodramas, watch something else. If you like fun little shows, watch something else. If you like slow motion shots, go watch Rebel Moon. You don't need to watch Eve. You just don't.
Isn't Rebel Moon that PS3 tower defense game?
And that's Moon. There was Rainbow Moon, which was a strategy game, and
Moon.
like Moon. Oh, you're right. It was.
But nobody watch Eve. Where is it so they know to avoid it?
It's on Netflix.
Yeah, don't everybody cancel your Netflix. Don't watch Eve.
Just sidestep that one altogether.
All right, Taylor. Do you have more to say about Banana Bread, or is it time for Poke News of the Week?
I think it's about time for Poke News
of the Week. So, like I said, we're a little light on the news this week because we're mere seconds, and by seconds I mean several thousand seconds, away from a bunch of announcements for the closing ceremony of Worlds. This is the juiciest news I could find. Cerebi reports that a distribution has been announced for South Korea. Taylor, this is for you.
That's where Eve takes place.
If you go to Pokemon the Orchestra on September 21st or 22nd, you will get a code to get 3 bottle caps, 3 peppers, and 3 comet shards. Details at Cerebi.
Oh, God, that's all they came up with? Oh, come on.
Some hard news. Oh, my God. Okay, so to make this a real Poke News of the Week, to even be worth listening to, let's do our predictions for what's going to be announced today. I'll give you some help, Taylor. Typically, you don't get giant cool game announcements. Normally they announce like some new TCG sets, some new features come into the TCG. You get some information about online battles for the main games. I think it would be sick for them to go Pokemon ZA coming next year, and this time we have multiplayer. Because Legends Arceus, a.k.a. the best Pokemon video game ever made.
Whoa.
I'm not saying the best Pokemon game ever made, because that's very much, I
that's
think,
ridiculous.
subjective.
But you're saying this is the best video game ever made.
Hold on. I don't think that's ridiculous, actually. I think that's a completely there's plenty of reasons you could have that opinion. I just mean, as somebody who doesn't approach Pokemon as a video game, it's completely separate. I'm sorry. We've mentioned it 1,000 times. So close your ears for a second if you don't want to hear me repeat myself. But the way I look at it is you got video games, then you got something like Smash Brothers. Smash Brothers is a sport, not a video game to me. And then you got Pokemon. And Pokemon is not a video game. A review score means nothing to me in a Pokemon game. I'm here to catch them all. I'm going to catch them all. How good of a video game it is really doesn't matter at all to me. And all I'm saying is, if you are somebody who plays a lot of video games and likes fun video games and writes review scores for video games, Legends Arceus is the best one out of the series. If you don't care about Pokemon, I mean.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, the original Arceus didn't have multiplayer. I didn't mind. I mean, you could trade, but there was no battling or anything. People in the Pokemon community love to find patterns and things and say, well, this happened here and this happened there and this wasn't in that, so it can't be there. But the funny thing is, and I saw this myself on the internet, people trying to say, oh, well, Legends games don't have multiplayer, so, and then someone else replying, which I believe I liked the tweet, that said, there's been one video game in the series. That's not enough to form a pattern.
That's good.
This next one could easily have multiplayer. We don't know.
To be fair, 100% of them don't have multiplayer.
Yeah, that's a good point, girls. So I think that will be kind of a neat announcement. Show some new footage of ZA and say, and we're bringing in multiplayer. I think very cool, very sick. But the problem is, it may not be the right place for it, because even if they do add multiplayer, I don't think ZA is going to be the next place where they have actual competitive, like all the tournaments and everything. I think that has to stick to the main generation stuff. They used to do it in the remakes, but now that the remakes are different, it's kind of weird. So that's what I'm hoping for. Girls, tell me what you predict or you hope is announced.
So given the, I'm going to say slightly underwhelming nature of the bottle cap promotion, I'm going to say they're going to announce maybe some ZA stuff, maybe a release date. Definitely they're going to announce some online TCG packs, because they've been pushing that game a little bit. And I hope that they are going to announce a chance to get Shiny Zygarde as part of a research in Pokemon Go, because I think they need to do something to pump that game up a little more.
Zygarde is Gen 6, and ZA is based in Kalos. But as far as, well, he's a legendary. And you get the Shiny Zygarde in the anime, so.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking.
I think Victini's coming up next, though. But Zygarde's not a mythical.
I just feel like ZA is such a...
Right, girls. The Z is talking about Zygarde. Yes.
Yeah. He's going to avoid that.
He's going to be in the game, don't you worry. And actually, I hate repeating myself, girls, but actually, I would be willing to bet that the anime is a clue that we are going to get Shiny Zygarde in ZA as a catchable quest line, because that's what they did for Terrapagos. They introduced Terrapagos way before we had DLC for Scarlet and Violet. So I think that the Explorer's man having Shiny Zygarde is going to show up in ZA.
Well, what I'm hoping is that, and one of my favorite parts that I mention frequently about the Scarlet and Violet anime is how well they're tying it into the game. And I hope that this just continues that trend.
They could be doing a better job, but yeah, that is the initial reason I was so excited about the prospect of this, is that they open with, oh, hey, here's a brand new Pokemon not in the game. So if you want information about this new Pokemon, this is your only option to watch this anime, which was very sick.
Yeah.
All right, guys, there's no geese here, so we just got to keep moving on along. Taylor, are you ready to discuss an episode of Pokemon?
Yeah, I'm ready.
As SpongeBob would say, I'm ready.
I thought he was going to say rev me up.
No. Taylor, please tell us what happened last time on Pokes.
Previously, on the way to Fridgetown, which, should I call it something different, or can I say Fridgetown?
Montenevera.
Previously, on the way to Montenevera, the kids get a little lost in the forest and make their way out, thankfully.
Or, what Taylor wrote, the gang escapes a frigid fate.
Yes.
I don't know why he writes anything down, because he doesn't look at it. Taylor, what is the name of this week's episode in English? Pop quiz.
Master Hand.
Okay.
Or is it announcer?
When both work.
Yeah. In this episode, we have the title, Let Your Soul Resonate, a challenge to rhyme.
Or in Japanese, Molly Shannon, Hibike, Tamoshi, Ryme he no Chosen. Taylor, what is your one-sentence synopsis via Geese Peep?
Roy's ready for his implementation test, but is he ready for a diss track?
Let's get it out of the way. I watched this episode, immediately thought, wow, Japanese good, sorry, English.
I was thinking that the entire time.
Get it out of the way now. Get it out of the way now.
They're going to struggle with this one.
Guys, we open with two Snover having a little conversation on Glaciato Mountain. As the kids walk up, we see Roy and Fuecoco doing everybody's favorite Fuecoco song. Everybody, come on. I've been singing it all week, girls.
Fuecoco is top tier this episode. His little furrowed brow, excitement pumping himself up for different situations is just next level.
So good. The song's so loud it wakes up a snome. All the kids have a conversation about how much Roy and Fuecoco just love to sing. I believe Dot says, how do you sing in this cold? I think to myself, Dot, maybe you ought to try singing. Maybe it'll warm up your little heart.
Oh, she's not cold-hearted.
Maybe it'll warm up your little body temperature.
Yeah. Good old cold-blooded Dot.
Yep. Apparently, the singing makes Fuecoco stronger, we learn in this episode for the first time.
Yep.
Taylor, Quaxwell has done it. He's found Montenevera. Am I right?
Yes.
All right, theme song time. We're back from the theme song. Then we see some Drifloon flying by. It's sort of near sunset right now. That's an ill omen, seeing a bunch of Drifloon. I'm terrified. Guys, this is the town of snow and requiems, and it's full of ghosts. As a matter of fact, here's a Ghastly and a Shuppet with two old people.
And these old people are so adorable and so cute, telling Roy about telling all the gang about everything that goes on. And they're saying, we have a little festival to help our dearly departed find peace in the afterlife. Actually, we have two festivals today. And Roy, with absolutely no sense of social awareness at all, says, okay, yeah, that's great. Where's the gym? I got to take my test.
No time for souls finding peace here, girls. We got a concert. That's cool, but me, Roy, got to get a little implementation going, if you know what I mean.
He does.
Unfortunately, like every week in Pokemon, they show up at the gym, and Taylor, is this a Nurse Joy situation where it's the identical man in every gym, the man with the mustache?
I was kind of thinking that.
Big surprise! Yes.
I feel like they would highlight that a little bit more.
Nah, it's probably... I mean, I'm sure they just reuse the same asset in the game, so they're just doing it in the anime to be fun. Big surprise, the gym leader Ryme is not here. Now, at this point, Roy does not realize that the gym leader Ryme of Montenevera is the same woman that he went ghost hunting for Annihilate with several weeks ago. He does not yet realize that, but he will soon realize that. Spoilers.
And I forgot that everybody thought he was crazy.
Oh, yeah. There's a very funny line later in the episode where Dot just says, oh, so you weren't dreaming that? So this whole time, can you imagine having a relationship with somebody where they tell you a full story and in your mind you just think, oh, that was a dream. That didn't actually happen.
Well, at least I got some clarity in this episode where they thought it was a dream. I thought they thought he was losing his mind this whole time. So every time they would talk to him, they'd be like, oh, just we don't know if he's seeing what we're seeing.
But again, then you circle back to the whole idea we always discuss of why are people scared of the paranormal? There's ghosts everywhere. There's a ghost right there. All right, guys, let's go find Ryme. Fuecoco just waddling out of the gym towards the little concert battle stage. Just so adorable. And he manages to stumble upon a little candle in the ground. What on earth is that? Oh my God, it's a Grievard. It's several Grievards, girls.
I thought it was going to be a Litwick. I was very shocked that it was a Grievard.
Yeah, it looks kind of like a Litwick, but they're spooking Fuecoco. Now, here's the thing. There's some give and take on this Pokemon because is it a cute pup? Yes. Is it also stealing the life of all of our protagonists? Also, yes, they're ghosts. I mean, I'm sure they don't mean it, but they are killing the boys and the girls.
It's so cruel because they seem so friendly, and when you see a dog, you want to, give it a little pat on the head.
Yeah, but their life essence is being sapped. They're slowly dying. Years off their life.
Well, I was thinking, if your life essence is being sapped, you're aging more quickly for that duration, right? It's not like just cutting off the last few years of your life.
Well, it's kind of like cutting the last few years off your life, sort of. Well, I see what you're saying. But I think we're okay because then we cut to a big giant cheese fondue dinner, and Roy says, "Oh, now that I've eaten, my life essence is back." So
I do not trust him to know those nuances.
Yeah, I mean, who's to say? Who's to say, really? Write in looklistencast@gmail.com if you are who is to say. If you are the whom.
Used to say.
If whom to say is you, tell me. Terapagos is enjoying some little Pokecubes when he notices those Drifloon from earlier. I mean, I guess I don't know if it's the same Drifloon. Maybe it's some different Drifloon.
If it's different ones, that's very scary.
They're just everywhere.
Just a city full of Grievard and a city full of Drifloon? Just, come on. And this is where they hold a concert?
Look, the goths love it. So Terapagos talks to the Drifloon, and they come to a mutual understanding that the Drifloon are going to, much like Sarah Jessica Parker and Hocus Pocus, come little children, I'll take thee away into my garden of magic.
I was really wondering what they were going to do.
They just grab Terapagos with their little ghost hands and fly off into the distance. At this point, I'm thinking, oh, well, if you know anything about the lore of Drifloon, that Terapagos is donezo. So, sorry for you.
That's so scary.
Luckily, Liko notices, and then Floragato springs into action. Very funny how she jumps over the railing. Everybody else just walks around through the maybe a couple centimeters to the left to exit the restaurant. Floragato says, no time. I'm vaulting over the little fence here.
So this episode kind of misses on some of the comedy for me, but Floragato is consistently hilarious in this one.
Like such as?
Later on in the episode.
Nice spoilers. So then Floragato tries to grab Terapagos with her yo-yo, but the Drifloons fly even higher. Oh, hey, look, it's Nimona, everybody's favorite champion. What's she doing here? She's with Palmy Palmo Pama Pomodo.
Best line names in the world.
Palmy Palmo Pama Pomodo. If you're unaware, if this is your first time listening to this podcast, I'll be real quick with this. These Pokemon are the most confusingly named Pokemon in the history of Pokemon on account of, A, half of them look exactly like each other, and on part 2, B, their Japanese names are the same as the English names, but just reversed around. So how are you expect me to remember if it's a Palmy Palmo Pomodo Pomodo?
I think they were just counting on nobody caring.
And in Japanese, 2 of them are Pamoto and Pamoto. You just hold O a little bit longer.
Oh my God. Why did they give it to Nimona? No one's going to notice if she evolves.
Nimona, Pomono, Pomano, Pomodo. Strong winds appear out of nowhere, and it knocks Terapagos out of the Drifloon's grasp. And Terapagos starts to fall. Quick, Pomomi, grab the Terapagos. Oh, you did it. Wonderful. Great
Way
job.
to go, Pomona.
Pomomo, I am so proud of you today. Even though Terapagos is this crazy, wild, powerful Pokemon, could transform into anything to save itself. Has saved Liko in the past from falling, but luckily Pamini grabs him, so we're good. We did it. Then we cut to everybody walking back towards the concert, and Nimona tells the kids how Ryme is a famous rapper. Ooh, she's going to be performing, and there's audience participation.
Wow.
Very exciting. In the crowd, we see a Jigglypuff and a Haunter and a Charmander. I gotta say, the Charmander looks a little off-model in some of these shots. He's got a goofy little face going.
Yeah, it looked like one of those freeze frames.
Yeah, I love those freeze frames. We get a scene now that is one of those classic, oh my god, in Japanese. In English, it'll probably be whatever. Again, this is set in the equivalent of Spain, but because it's made by Japanese people still behave like Japanese people a lot of the time. Roy, in the middle of a crowd, just screams, "I'm here for my implementation test!" And the crowd is absolutely shocked at this behavior.
It's really funny because it's very on character for Roy.
Some would say on brand.
Mm-hmm. Just think about how much time he's had to be excited about this. He saw Dot pass her exam. Oh, God, was it Liko? And I just forgot.
Yep, we saw Dot pass the implementation test.
Way to go, Dot, for passing the Olympics.
I'm proud of you, please. So Roy yells, "I'm here for my test, everybody. Let me up. Let me fight her. Let me go." And then Nimona says, "Wait, why don't you fight me?" Because Nimona is very battle hungry, as you are all aware, I'm sure.
I feel so much sadness for Nimona because all she ever wants to do is fight, and there's just random stuff preventing her every single time. Nobody ever gets to fight her.
It's just like in the video game. But before Roy can agree to battle Nimona, the warm-up MC on stage, MC comma, or whatever they're going to call him in English, says, "Roy, you get up on stage right now. You seem like a real ganky kid."
It was MC Hammer.
Yeah, comma.
Like MC Hammer.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Comma. You're going to battle me for the rehearsal. Now, here's the thing. I don't know if they know the definition of the word rehearsal. Because a rehearsal is when you do the main thing of the show, but for practice.
Exactly.
They're doing something completely different. They would be doing what I would call an opening act, not a rehearsal. But
yes.
What are you going to do? They don't know the definition of the word. Poor Nimona. You don't get to battle. MC comma says, "Go Sableye! Shadow Claw!"
Very good animation on Sableye.
I agree. He looks very sick. Fuecoco, dodge it. Power Gem, Sableye. And Roy and Fuecoco, you know what time it is.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Taylor, who is in the audience this whole time watching the battle between Roy and MC Kama?
If it isn't Ryme herself.
Oh my God. I bet she remembers their ghost hunting adventure.
Is it at this point where Nimona just has this battle analysis that's totally eluded everybody else, where she says, "Oh, I see. They sing and they get in sync."
I do not recall when that happens.
It's either now or during the battle with Ryme. I can't tell because it's the same performance on account of the rehearsal.
It is a rehearsal. Fuecoco, use Flame Charge! Oh my God. Sableye is knocked out. Everybody's clapping.
This is such a big moment in the anime because this, I think, is the first time where the move Dodge It has not worked.
Wow.
I was shocked. He yells out Dodge It to Sableye and he still gets hit.
Yeah, Flame Charge, Fuecoco was running very fast. What are you going to do?
Yeah, it's wild.
Everybody's clapping. The crowd has now become larger. We see a Pig Knight and a Pidgey in the crowd. One dude has a very sick Vanillite hat. Very important.
MC Hammer in this is so funny when he's like, "Everybody give it up to the guy that was just fighting me." No names.
They were so happy. Wasn't Roy going, thank you. It's okay. Yeah. Don't it's all right. Thank you. Now it's time to battle Ryme. That's right. The gym leader of Mountain and Nevera. We call her the Soulful Beat. She raps about ghosts. And this is the scene where we learn that Dot has thought that Roy was just lying or dreaming the whole time. Very good. And since this is a rap section, of course, you get so much English. It's just the two Japanese actors saying a bunch of English in a Japanese accent. And it's wonderful. Please watch in Japanese, please.
In Spain, of all places.
Yeah. Sometimes in the games, maybe clever is the wrong word, but sometimes in the games, they do acknowledge that the different regions are speaking different languages. And sometimes
that's cool.
They don't.
With like little accents, right?
Accents and word choice and weird grammatical weird grammar. I could have used the word grammar. That would have been easier.
They do that in a very comical way in the game Jeanne d'Arc.
Jeanne d'Arc.
Which I think I've shown you.
Yes. So much like you're watching Star Wars. Yeah, let's say you're watching Star Wars and the idea is, they're all speaking basic, but since this is a piece of entertainment, it's just translated to English. Much like that, when you play a Pokemon game, you choose the language you're going to understand. But theoretically, they speak different languages. And when you meet a character that is from a region that speaks a different language, they make it clear from their like broken English in quotation marks. And I think it's pretty neat.
I pretend that it's a Rotom in my Switch translating in real time for me.
Yeah, that's cool. Who's ready to bring some heat to this stage? Oh, by the way, Roy left the stage, and now he's coming right back up on stage.
Yep.
So that's
no potions or anything.
You would imagine the boy used a potion or ran to the Pokemon Center real quick. Me, Roy, I'm ready to bring some heat to this stage immediately for my test.
My implementation test. That's what I'm here for.
Commercial break. We're back with a commercial break. And I think this is a little rare. As it fades to commercial, we just hear "Ghost for all." and then when we come back from the commercial break, Roy says, "Oh, hey, guess what, Ryme? Turns out we found that Annihilate, by the way." And she says, "Oh, sick."
Yeah.
All right, Roy, it's me, Ryme, the big gym leader, rapper extraordinaire. Before you battle me, you gotta prove yourself in a rap battle.
When she said that, I was cracking up thinking, thank God it was Roy and not Liko.
Oh, poor Liko.
Because I think Dot would stumble her way through a little rap battle, just, being real embarrassed, like looking down and saying, oh, my man. Liko would have a full-on panic attack.
She would. Poor girl. But they drop a real sick beat. Again, apologies, English, you're not getting anything.
Way to go, Roy.
Roy, off the dome, freestyles the sickest flow imaginable. Fuecoco puts on
his sunglasses
from when he met the crocodiles.
So
it's the
sick.
Cutest scene you've ever seen. By the way, Gengar and Weavile are in the audience at this point. They heard the sick rap, and they thought, I gotta see this. There's also a Meryl. Now, you can only see it from the back.
Yeah.
So you may be thinking to yourself, is that a Meryl? Is that an Azurill?
I was thinking it was a Meryl.
But Azurill, his tail ball is exactly the same size as his body. Meryl, his body is bigger than his tail ball, and you can use that information to deduce it's a Meryl. It's time to battle. Roy, my question to you for your implementation test is, what does Terestal mean to you? And Roy says, easy. Terestal means to me, I need it to get stronger so I can battle Shiny Rayquaza.
I was very surprised at Roy's interpretation of his own goals, because his answers didn't seem like he didn't seem like Roy during this battle at all.
Yeah, and my final point I'm making, he was way too overconfident in this whole battle, and it will turn out to be, spoilers, perhaps his downfall.
I thought you were going to say death.
No. Well, God, it sounds like it, doesn't it, at the end of this thing? Go Houndstone! Which is the evolution of Grievard. Go Kilowattrel, says Roy. And I believe Ryme goes, oh, your Wattrel evolved. That's neat.
Yeah, I'm losing my mind. So excited to see Kilowattrel in a fight.
Kilowattrel, use Spark. Dodge it, Houndstone. And then they do that 3 times in a row. Phantom Force. Oh my god, the Phantom Force hits and uses Crunch. Kilowattrel is KO'd. That means it's time for Fuecoco because, as you know, in an implementation test, you only get 2 Pokemon. Oh, I was trying to read what I wrote, and I went, what on earth? But it's Ka-Chi-Agare. And I was trying to read English out of that. Ka-Chi-Agare. Ka-Chi-Agare. Irase. Hogeta Gambate. Scary face. Crunch.
It's very scary.
Flame Charge. Again. Phantom Force. Oh my god. Roy, it's that same trick again. Houndstone's going to appear right behind Fuecoco. Is he going to get knocked out? No. Fuecoco turns and uses Flamethrower. Houndstone is knocked out. Wheezing. Oh.
Is it?
There's not a Pokemon named Wheezing, but... Well, there is a Pokemon named Wheezing, but I wrote...
Yeah, Wheezing doesn't exist, just to let you know.
No, I don't like this scene. It made me concerned because rather than just do the normal, oh, the Pokemon's knocked out and they put the little swirly eyes, which I would have preferred, they instead have a Houndstone just wheeze and look like the boys on death's door. I was so concerned.
He needed some of those magical sandwiches.
And hopefully they fix that in English and they don't make you feel so bad for this poor dog because they have like a full 5 seconds of Houndstone just going poor dog. Golly.
If you're using a Houndstone, is it constantly draining your life force?
No, he probably can choose.
Oh,
just don't get too close. Uh-oh. Taylor, I think the writing was on the wall at this point because Roy yells out, I am unbeatable.
And which is not like Roy at all. I just don't understand. I understand why this had to happen. I don't understand why the writers just didn't make it seem like Roy was himself. And instead was like this egomaniacal power-tripping anime character.
We'll have to see what Geese thinks of it. See if she feels like Roy is capable of yelling out, I am unbeatable. I am Roy, and I sing to get stronger and win.
I want Terastal to beat Rayquaza. I'm at the top of the mountain.
And I'm scared of a bear. And then
very reasonable.
Yeah. And then Ryme throws out, and at this point, I'm rooting for Ryme.
Me too.
Because she throws out my boy who was on my Sword and Shield team, as mentioned before, low-key form Toxtricity.
So sick.
What a sick... We're talking about an electric poison type. We're talking about a boy who has the ability Punk Rock, and all sound-based moves are way stronger, and any sound-based moves that hit him are weakened. What a strong Pokemon.
They do him justice. Like, this is a sick implementation of that Pokemon.
And, well, we'll get to it later, and he's poison type, which means he's resistant to fairy, which will come up later.
Hope nobody tries to use disarming voice or charming voice or any kind of voice attacks.
Yeah, hope not. Also, it doesn't come up in this episode, spoilers, but I'm willing to bet that this particular Loki form Toxtricity, his Terra type is Ghost on account of Ryme is a Ghost type gym leader, and that's how they did that in the game. You'd have for their ace Pokemon, it would be a different type, but then they'd terrestrialize into the type their specialty is.
Oh, that's fun.
Very sick.
Oh, I can't wait to play Scarlet and Violet.
You can do it anytime. It's been out for years. Please, bro, just beat the game.
Be so sick.
For crying out loud. Every week you come in here and say, oh, I watched the anime and it made me want to play. And then you don't play. Flamethrower, Fuecoco. Toxtricity, use Overdrive. Fuecoco, use Starchu Trap him.
Starchu Trap him.
Use Overdrive again, Toxtricity. Oh, my God. My boy. Such a powerhouse. Just standing there and blocking every single thing Fuecoco does.
Just and the sound waves going out.
Oh, he strums his chest and it sounds like a bass guitar. And
So
then
sick.
Fuecoco goes in for a flame charge. It's never steered him wrong in the past. Toxtricity, use boom burst. Fuecoco goes flying. Oh my God, his ability's coming in clutch. Fuecoco, you're not doing too hot. And then, even after we've learned about the ability of Toxtricity, Roy,
drunk with power,
he says, I know, let's sing. Let's use a sound-based move. Oh, mo, irase. Use disarming voice, Fuecoco. Girls, it's useless.
What did we just tell the boy?
Completely useless. He's a poison type. Disarming voice is a fairy type move. It's doing nothing.
And even if he wasn't a poison type, it wouldn't do anything because of his ability.
Toxtricity, use Hex, use Overdrive, Fuecoco's hit, and then Roy, nothing's working. He decides he's going to terrestrialize at this moment.
He doesn't even have a cool anime line before. He's just like, well, okay. And then uses terrestrializing.
And then Ryme says, terrestrializing out of desperation, huh? All right. This is Ryme speaking. I'm not even going to terrestrialize. Why don't Toxtricity go ahead use Venoshock, blind Fuecoco so he can't see anything, and then use Overdrive.
I felt so bad for Fuecoco.
Oh, poor little boy. He's completely knocked out of his terror, on the ground. I'm screaming no. Roy runs over to Fuecoco. Ryme walks up to the two of them. And in the coldest moment I've ever seen in this anime, Ryme says to Roy, you are a failure of a partner.
Jesus Christ, Ryme, he's just a little singing island boy.
There's no way English is going to call him a failure of a partner.
The next line is the most brutal thing I've ever heard. Wash your soul and come back?
Oh my God.
What on earth?
Roy is devastated. She says straight to his face, you have failed your implementation test, by the way. Can you imagine how Roy doesn't strike me as someone who gets embarrassed, but this has got to be embarrassing after watching Dot lose her battle and pass. She's
amputating the boy's heart.
Golly.
And then, even more coldly, she just walks over and says, oh, hey, there's more show.
Jeez, everybody is so sad. We see Roy off to the side of the concert with his friends. Concert's still going on. They pop in the music from Final Fantasy X when Yuna's about to sacrifice herself to Sin. Oh, my God. Roy says, it's all my fault that Fuecoco isn't living up to his potential. And the boy's never been this sad. We immediately get a to be continued screen.
How do you recover?
Honestly,
I'm quitting at that point.
I wonder if Geese is really going to like this because this is very different. We don't typically end an episode on you have done it this time.
I like that they did. I appreciate that a lot. Do I like how they got to this point? Meh. But I'm glad that this is how it ended.
All right, let's go over the seminar and then we'll discuss review of the week. So the Fritos Pokemon seminar is about Houndstone. Houndstone hates having its head touched. It's okay if it trusts you, but if it doesn't know you, you better not touch his head. The animation we get is Captain Pikachu touching it, and he's fine with that. But then Florigato tries to touch his little head, and Houndstone absolutely loses it.
Very funny animation from Florigato. Oh, also, yes, its head for Geese.
Oh, loses its mind when Florigato tries to touch it, and then Florigato runs away. Funny animation, yes, haha, we did it. Claps around all around.
How are you laughing after that takedown at the end of the episode, though?
How you laughing? Roy, Roy, oh my God.
Maybe this is so harsh.
Maybe this is what Roy needs to become a better trainer, to be told he's terrible partner. I don't think he's a terrible partner. I think he's real good to Fuecoco, but
the first thing that he did was tell Fuecoco it was his fault and apologize.
Yeah, this will probably end up making Roy a better trainer. He needs some tough love, and then he's really gonna come through. People on the internet are speculating next week he's gonna evolve. I hope that isn't true. Geese hopes that isn't true. Sounds like Taylor doesn't mind.
I hope it is true. And where better to do it than Ghost City?
Yeah, Crocolore. Because Skeledirge is Ghost type, if you'll recall. If you'll recall. Interesting episode. Lots of fun. The rat battle was cool. Very interesting ending. Not enough laughs. Not enough cute stuff. But interesting episode. Probably for me an 8.8, maybe?
Interesting.
I don't want to give everything a 9.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I was thinking about that too, because I also appreciated how interesting and unique the episode was, but so much of it gets taken out because they have cool fights. They had low-key toxicity, which I thought was going to... That's probably bumping your score up already.
That's bumping my... At least to an 8.9 with my boy in there.
Oh, yeah. Which I also really like that Pokemon. I loved Sableye. I laughed a few times, but that ending was so darn harsh. My issue was they didn't need the warm-up session. Don't make Roy act like he's the golden god. That's not ever who Roy has been. He's always been not proud of his power, but proud of his relationship with Fuecoco and how in sync they are. So for him to just lose all sense of like his goals and who he is, everything felt very forced. Like they needed that dramatic finale for a character who was really full of themselves. Therefore, they wrote Roy to be full of himself this episode.
I see.
I'm going to give it, it's hard because there were a lot of, like, Florigato was real fun. It wasn't my favorite episode. I'm going to give it probably a 7.8.
Ooh, I see. Yeah, I'm very curious what Geese feels about it.
Yeah. It's a weird one.
Yeah, golly. I kind of want to drop it because you are bringing up a good point that him being that overconfident isn't really tracking for us. It's not really, as the children like to say, it wasn't earned. If you disagree, please leave a comment or email looklistencast@gmail.com and give evidence of why this would make sense. I mean,
cite it.
Last week wasn't, me and Roy and Fuecoco defeated all of the Elite Four.
Yeah.
Well, they have beaten one of the Elite Four, right? Didn't they win their match?
I mean, they passed. I don't think they won.
I don't remember. But it's not like he just won a big giant battle tower of, I defeated 1,000 enemies, so I feel confident in myself. I think last week he just got lost in the snow and found each other. So, yeah that doesn't really make too much sense. If you're giving it 7.5, but Toxicity was in there, let me go back down to 8.4. I guess.
Like, it had a lot of good points, but it just, plot-wise, it was really weird.
But I do think they're brave for doing what I was not expecting Ryme to say, you're a failure of a partner. We're moving back up to 8.6. Because even if it doesn't make sense, it's still cool that they went that direction of just sorry, Roy, you're goofing.
So that's actually why I gave it as high as I did, because of that ending.
So we're going 8.6, final score. We're clearly very torn on this. Doesn't make any sense, but still brave for trying. So
a lot of sick moves. Dodge it didn't work, which is, I think, very sick.
It's crazy. All right, everybody. That concludes our discussion on this episode of Pokemon. Can't wait to hear what Geese says next week about what did she think about this episode. Let's end on, because we were doing predictions for Pokemon the World Championships. Let's do a quick prediction on what do you think is going to be announced soon from PlayStation. Remember, we got Gamescom coming up, where I am willing to bet they're announcing the PS5 Pro coming out this year. So
that's
what do
I
you
was
think?
Thinking.
What do you think they're going to announce alongside that to show off the power of the PS5 Pro? Final Fantasy IX Remake, perhaps, Taylor?
I want that so badly because that's my favorite Final Fantasy game, as we all know. That and Tactics.
Everybody knows. Name one person.
It's
that doesn't know.
I don't want to get my hopes up. Like, I really don't. I'm hoping that they announce a portable console. I think that would be so sick.
Yes, I believe that is happening. PlayStation Portal exceeded expectations quite a bit. It was just sold out forever. Every time they put more out, they were immediately sold out.
Yeah, which is music to my ears.
So from the way I understand it is PSVR 2 did terribly. And they were left with all these parts. And I have compared the parts to PSVR 2 and PlayStation Portal, and it's clear they're reusing the parts. So somewhere along the line, they went, okay, this is doing terribly. Let's see after Steam Deck, and everybody's back into portable gaming now. Thanks a lot, everybody. Nobody bought a Vita, but everybody's buying a Steam Deck. So now they're testing the waters, using hardware they have sitting around, see if PlayStation Portal is popular. Okay, people like it. Maybe it's time to release the fabled
Mega Man Legends 3.
Yeah, Mega Man Legends 3. And Xbox is going to do this too, because they're leaving all this money on the table, just giving Nintendo everything. Well, Nintendo and Steam, I guess, giving them all the money in the handheld market. So they're both, I believe, going to release a console, and they're going to do this the smart way, which is it is a portable PS4. Because if you make it a portable PS4, then your library is already massive out the gate. And tons of games still to this day are being released, both PS5 and PS4. And it seems like we're done with the idea of not being backwards compatible because they're building the consoles so similar to one another. I think PS4 is locked in now till the end of time. And by the end of this generation, we're going to have way more native PS3 games. Just they're emulated. It's very difficult. So the problem with the cell processor is everybody had to use it completely differently to make their video game. So
it was a weird choice. It was a very weird choice.
That means you can't just make a one-size-fits-all emulator to easily emulate all the PS3 games, which means that you have to build different emulators for all these different games from different studios. But I believe by the end of the generation, we'll have a lot. PS3 games people really want to play are going to be playable on PS5 and PS5 Pro. I believe that. But I think the portable will be a PS4. I was going to say you could have an Xbox Series S sort of situation where some PS5 games could run at a lower capacity, but I think it's easier to just keep it as a PS4.
I agree. And most people aren't. The weird thing is, if it's just a PS4, that enters in such a weird part of the market because you're competing with the Switch, which you're, kind of breaking it there. The Switch isn't a wild powerhouse. But then you're comparing it to the Steam Deck, which has modern games that you can adjust to work on the Steam Deck.
Well, forget about the Switch. By the time this thing comes out, Switch successor is coming out next year. And that thing's going to be as powerful as a Steam Deck.
Yeah. I hope they don't do something that I would see as a very Sony thing to do, which is announce something really, really cool just a little bit too late. Like, they have a history of releasing something amazing, and there's just like one flaw with it. Like the Vita had the flaw of proprietary storage, and they just didn't support it. PSVR, they just didn't support it. PS3, goofy cell processor stuff. So I'm hoping that they actually hit what they've been doing with their mainline PlayStation releases lately.
Well, PS3 was fine. I mean, in the very beginning, yeah, it was doing very poorly compared to Xbox 360. But by the end of the generation, PS3 completely won. It sold more and had better games on it.
Yeah, I mean, I think they kill it as far as like console wars type mentality. I think they are consistently pretty ahead.
Yeah, sometimes they are ahead of the curve is the problem. Yeah. People weren't ready for a PS Vita. And then with Microsoft, their hardware sales going down to garbage. Every quarter, they sell fewer and fewer consoles. And they've already released so many Xbox games on PlayStation. So once we get big hitters like Gears of War and Halo Master Chief Collection on PlayStation, just selling millions of units,
forget about it.
Getting a platinum on those games. Can you imagine?
Come on. What
Once
a world.
Happens, and people are going to buy these little handhelds.
I'm actually kind of worried because I like the idea of competition for gaming because that means that people have to push the envelope.
We do. We have Nintendo.
Yeah,
that's it.
But they're always just off doing their own thing with their goofball R&D department.
Yeah, they're so sick. But yeah, I mean, there's just no future for Microsoft in the exclusive hardware business. They get what they really want is they want you to be able to subscribe to Game Pass on a PlayStation. But Sony, if it were up to Microsoft, that would be already the case. But Sony is saying, no, why would we do that? We'd rather you buy a video game and then we get the 30% cut on every sale.
And they would rather you have to subscribe to PS Plus because...
Oh my God, girls. I'm so excited. I don't know if you saw it, but I posted... I am living it up lately with PS Plus because one of my most anticipated games, Plucky Squire, coming to PlayStation Plus for free. Can't believe it. James Turner, the art director of Pokemon Sword and Shield. And also, I was about to buy Vacation Simulator on PSVR 2. It's on PlayStation Plus. So I'm going to download it, and I'm going to have a wonderful time. All right, guys. That is our predictions for what's happening with Sony.
Yeah, we're all excited about Vacation Simulator.
Yeah, I didn't really answer that question. It's time to move on to the wrap-up, guys. These people here be here next week, but let me go and wrap this up. Follow Look, Listen, Cast on, or listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. Please, on the YouTube, guys, can you leave a little like, leave a little comment, because when you do that, then it sends it to more people, and more people can watch it.
More grandmothers.
Thank you to Keith for our artwork. You can follow him, twitch.tv/KeithSquared. Taylor, please tell him about...
Thank you for the boilerplate.
Say the whole. Give me the whole line.
Thank you, Professor Ticklebits, for the boilerplate.
God, you could really. If you just read the full line, I could move on to the next one.
Oh wait, where's the?
Oh my God!
I'm doing this off the. Oh, here we go.
Don't delete it.
Thank you for supporters. Thank you for Professor Website. Shouts out to Professor Website. And for the boilerplate at twitch.tv/prof_ticklebits.
Now then, in my best American accent, I'm going to attempt to say this in an American accent.
Just hit those R's. You got it. And the E's. Don't forget the E's.
I don't know if my exhaling is being caught on the mic, but...
Just give yourself a few gambates.
Gambate. Yeah, that's going to help with an American accent. Thank you to, and for anybody, I'm sorry, if you're confused right now, every time I try to say this line, it somehow comes out Irish. And I don't know why.
It's okay.
Thank you to all of our supporters. You can support.
Okay, here's what you do. You say our
supporters.
Our supporters instead of our supporters.
Our supporters. You can support us by going to looklistencast.com. There's a link there. Also, if you go onto the podcast, there's a link there. It says you can support Spotify.goofballs.Geese Guyera. Also, please write a question to looklistencast@gmail.com so we can answer it on the air. Taylor, it's time to say goodbye. Geese Peep, goodbye. Say 3 times. Taylor, say goodbye once. I'm saying
4 times, Geese. I'm going to say goodbye, everybody.
All right, everybody.
Howdy, y'all. It's me, Geese Peep. Thank you for listening to the Geese Peep Productions podcast.
Geese Peep Enterprises, doing business as Peep Industries, together with its subsidiaries, is a diversified worldwide entertainment company with operations in media networks, talent management, parks and resorts, multimedia entertainment, and consumer products and interactive media. Geese Peep Enterprises is a Bell 30 company.